Well, that was fast. It really didn't take long at all. It was only a few days ago that the US government announced they had imposed visa bond requirements for Malian nationals, as well as stringent trade tariffs on China. Almost immediately, Mali and China reciprocated and returned the favor by imposing retaliatory requirements on the US, resulting in a tit-for-tat game theory scenario. I guess when someone is too used to getting their way all the time, they forget that their opponent can act and do the same as they did. And just like that, the US blinked first. In my last video, I showed how the US government tried to bully Mali and China in accepting visa bond requirements for nationals seeking entry into the US and stringent tariffs on Chinese goods, like agriculture products, electronics, and industrial materials, respectively. Both Mali and China utilize the tit-for-tat game theory, which states that I treat you the same way you treat me. You come cordial, and so will I. But if you come disrespectful, then I will too. Well, the game theory worked for Malian President Assimi Goïta and Chinese President Xi Jinping, and it backfired for the US government in their efforts. Mali announced and imposed exact retaliatory and reciprocal visa bond fees on US citizens traveling to its country. And China imposed counter tariffs on US goods, targeting agricultural products, electronics, and industrial materials. And it worked, just like how they imagined it would. The US government backed down and removed all the visa bond requirements from Malian citizens wanting to travel to the United States. The US also blinked in the trade war with China because the economic and geopolitical costs of escalation became too steep, especially amid rare earth restrictions, domestic industry pressures, and global market instability. A truce had to be reached to avoid further damage to the US economy. The United States chose to pause, reassess, and negotiate with Mali and China rather than risk deeper economic fallout. As it pertains to Mali, the diplomatic optics coming from US's visa bond policy looked really bad and was widely criticized as heavy-handed. Mali's response made the US look hypocritical and vulnerable to pushback, undermining its credibility in Africa and beyond. So the US backed down from its visa bond policy because Mali quickly reciprocated and retaliated, and that retaliation exposed the US's vulnerabilities, triggering a backlash they weren't ready or prepared for, and risked broader regional consequences, like other African nations doing the same to the US as Mali did in this instance. So, the US reversal was a strategic retreat to preserve relations and avoid escalation. As it pertains to China, the US backed down from its trade war with China because the economic fallout, domestic pressure, and China's strategic resilience made continued US escalation too costly for them. What little manufacturing sector the US has left is shrinking, with massive layoffs. China responded to US tariffs with its own countermeasures, including rare earth export controls, which China controls worldwide, and which the US desperately needs. China stood her ground with her tit-for-tat tariffs and global markets, and US allies and investors started to fear. So, a US truce was reached to avoid further and deeper damage to the US economy. Both Mali and China used mirror tactics to challenge US policies, and both succeeded in forcing the US to reverse its stance. Mali and China showed the world that power isn't just size, and that Mali's diplomatic defiance and China's economic countermeasures proved that resolve and strategy can rival brute strength. As it pertains to the United States, the key takeaway is that unilateral pressure tactics are no longer guaranteed to be successful, especially when targeted nations respond with strategic, reciprocal force. Tit for tat. In today's multipolar world, even smaller nations can push back and win. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you believe that so-called superpowers' prestige and stature are waning, and that a multipolar world is inevitable and necessary? And as always, Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.